Hello, sixth graders. Welcome to sixth grade math whole number operations lesson. Pause while you write the lesson title in your math notebook. Pause again while you write today's lesson objective in your math notebook. Today's objective is I can identify and apply the correct operation when solving real-life problems by completing practice problems with 100% accuracy in multiple attempts. Here are today's state standards. We'll be fluently dividing multi-digit numbers and multi-digit decimals using the standard algorithm, and we'll be fluently adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing multi-digit numbers, including multi-digit decimals, using the standard algorithm for each operation and assessing the reasonableness of the result. Let's get started. First, you're asked to recall the 4 basic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Start off by copying the table that's at the top of the page into your math notebook. It says operation, words, and algebra. So if your operation is addition, some of the words that might represent addition are the sum of, and it might look like a letter or a number plus another letter or a number, so A plus B. And then follow that down for subtraction, multiplication, and division. When you see this yellow pencil, that means that you need to be copying that. Now we'll take a look at example 1, adding and subtracting whole numbers. The bar graph shows the attendance at a 3-day art festival. What is the total attendance for the art festival? You want to find the total attendance for the 3 days. In this case, the phrase total attendance indicates you need to find the sum of the daily attendances. So you line up the numbers by their place values, then add. This is really important, this lining up the numbers by their place values. So when you do that, and I'm not going to go over the addition because that is a skill that you should have mastered in lower grades, but when you do that, you come up with 9,591 people. So remember, the trick is you need to be sure that everything is lined up. Make sure your ones place is lined up, and that should make everything else fall into place. And then be sure you are carrying numbers up at the top when you end up with a number that's greater than 10 at the bottom. And so your total attendance is 9,591 people. And we got these numbers by looking at the graph. So day 1 was 2,570, day 2 was 3,145, and so on. Let's look at letter B. What is the increase in attendance from day 1 to day 2? So if you see the word increase, you might think, oh, we're looking for a change, or we're looking for the difference. So you want to find how many more people attended on day 2 than on day 1. In this case, the phrase how many more indicates you need to find the difference of the attendances on day 2 and day 1. So you are going to subtract. So again, you line up the numbers by their place value and you subtract. And when you do that, you come up with a difference of 575 people. For example 2, we're going to be multiplying whole numbers. Let's take a look at the study tip. It says in example 2, you can use estimation to check the reasonableness of your answer. So we might want to estimate before we ever start. So we have to figure out what we're going to multiply first. So let's read the problem. It says a school lunch contains 12 chicken nuggets. 95 students buy the lunch. What is the total number of chicken nuggets served? You want to find the total number of chicken nuggets in 95 groups of 12 chicken nuggets. So the phrase 95 groups of 12 indicates you need to find the product of 95 and 12. So when you're estimating, you don't want to get out your pencil and paper and write down 95 times 12 if you're estimating to see about the reasonableness of your answer. So you're going to round 95 up to 100. And you know that 12 times 100 is 1200. So you might want to do that before you start doing your multiplication so that you know when you finish if your answer is reasonable or not. So you multiply, and there's the steps to your multiplication. You multiply the 12 by the ones digit, 5, and you multiply the 12 by the tens digit, 9, and you add, and you come up with 1,140. So there were 1,140 chicken nuggets served. You compare that to your estimate, and since they're close, you know that it's reasonable. Example 3, we are dividing whole numbers without a remainder. So they give you the hint that this should come out even. You make 24 equal payments for a go-kart. You pay a total of $840. So how much is each payment? You want to find the number of groups of 24 in 840. The phrase groups of 24 in 840 indicates you need to find the quotient of 840 and 24. Going to use long division to find the quotient. So you decide where to write the first digit in the quotient. So you kind of ask yourself, does 24 go into 8? And so it says do not use the hundreds place because 24 is greater than 8. 24 does not go into 8. So you don't want to use that hundreds place. So you don't put a number over that. Some students like to put an X over that so they don't accidentally put their numbers in the wrong spot. And then you go, does 24 go into 84? Well, yes, it does. So that's where we're going to put our first digit, is over the 4. So we divide the tens and write the first digit of the quotient in the tens place. And 24 goes into 84 3 times, and 3 times 24 is 72. That gives us a remainder of 12, and we bring down the 0. So then we've got 24 going into 120, and it goes into 120 5 times. 24 times 5 is 120, so we subtract the 120, we get a 0. So the quotient of 840 and 24 is 35, so each payment is $35. Here's another thing that we need to write in our notebooks. We check, we find the product of the quotient and the divisor, so we go back and we multiply. So 35 times 24 equals 840. So if you get what you started with, then you did everything correct. So when you're done viewing the flipped lesson, you need to double check and make sure that your notes are complete in your ISN. That's this notebook that you are writing in right now. You need to complete the questions on the Google form. And if you have a hard time with those questions, that's a clue that you need to review the lesson and make sure your notes are extra good and that you have all the help you need. You need to complete your Big Ideas Math assignment in your Math Spiral notebook, so that's your practice problems, and you need to submit that when it is 100% correct and not before. You also need to track your progress on your playlist so that you can keep track of where you are.